All right, welcome to the Not Move podcast. We're gonna be breaking down a few different things tonight. I think since it's just me and you, Robert, I think we'll just dive into some pro wrestling. I like to kick off the show with a little bit of pro wrestling. We don't get to hit on it all the time, so I think that if we were to break it down real quick before we get into football and stuff, I think that'd be fun. Um, Kind of gonna give you the floor on this one and see what you were thinking. What did you think of Raw?
So it started off. We had Seth Rollins, Bronson Reed, and Braun Breaker come out. Now Seth Rollins was trying to be hilarious, and then the Roman Reigns hand me the mic to Paul Heyman.
Right.
Now Braun Breaker stole the mic from him and hit us with a fire promo. Gave, gave us a promo saying he was going to destroy Sami Zayn and take him off the show. Take him off the shelf. Put him on the shelf. And he did exactly that. Sami Zayn, gone. Bronson Reed, he said he was going to take out Jey Uso. Jey Uso, gone. And then Seth Rollins, he said he was going to take care of Penta. Penta, now he still survived, but Seth Rollins won the match. So they all handled their business. What do you think on that, man? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm just trying to see where the storyline's going to go with this. I'm not quite sure at this point what the storyline's going to be. Um, do you think Roman Reigns is going to return?
I really hope so. I hope he gets revenge for Jay.
I think that's what it's leading to, right? Storyline wise.
I mean, I heard news that Roman Reigns is making another big three, trying to make another shield. That's what I've been hearing. There's been rumors about that. You never know if the rumors are true, but the rumors are he's bringing back the big three. So it's gonna be the three Paul Heyman guy versus the Seth Rollins team.
So he would team up with CM Punk, right?
Yeah, and then
Brock.
Brock Lesnar, because them charges that they had were dropped against them. Charges never pinned. Them charges were fake,
So we
basically.
could have a possible Brock Lesnar return. It would be the three
Yeah.
Paul Heyman guys. So CM Punk, Brock Lesnar, and Roman Reigns on one team, and then we would have the new Paul Heyman guys, which would be you know.
Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Seth Rollins. I
And what
mean,
if they were going to square off? Would it be the next pay per view or?
no, it would be this. That type of pay per view is a WrestleMania pay per view.
Yeah, you think it'd be that big?
That type of pay per view is meant for the big show. I mean, you have guys like, oh, what's up, Timsy?
What's up,
You
man?
have guys like CM Punk, which everybody chants his name. You have guys like Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and that's just three big names. And we're not going to include that you got the future star of the franchise with Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. So, and then Brock Lesnar on top of that. Yeah, that's a WrestleMania event.
Yeah, you think it'd be big enough to be a WrestleMania event?
Yeah, man. I mean, and I think Jey Uso is going to be switching to SmackDown soon to help Jacob Fatu defeat Solo Sikoa.
Okay, gotcha.
I mean, what's
But
your
Oh
thoughts on
man,
that?
I mean,
what other things happened on Raw that you want to break
I
down?
mean, I mean, besides the goal, we can talk about Goldberg, man. Goldberg came out. I
Yep.
mean, the first time he came out, he looked rusty, but this time he came out, he slapped the shit out of Gunther. He meant straight business. He pulled up in the 1972 Mustang. I think that's what he was driving, but it was nice as hell, man, the way he pulled up.
Right.
And then he got out, he smacked the microphone out of his hand and just slammed him. So I mean, Goldberg looks like he's still in his. I ain't even gonna front. Goldberg look like he still got it. I ain't gonna say prime, but he look like he still got it. This match is gonna be good. What you think about the match, man?
I'm looking forward to it. We gave our predictions on the last one on what we thought, who
Oh
was
yeah,
gonna win and stuff, but it's definitely got that big match feel to it. It's crazy when someone comes back, at, and you thought they were gonna be done, and they're gonna have another match, so you never quite know what to expect. But like you and Zip were hitting on last week, I feel like you guys might be right. I think that for Goldberg to win that match, it would kind of push Gunther down.
yeah. That's all I'm thinking on that. But also, if Goldberg does win that match, you know how you heard how big of a you watched Monday, right? You were
Yeah.
watching.
Hmm.
So you heard how loud they were yelling his name, man.
Right.
You know how loud that crowd's gonna be if he wins it. So I actually want to change my prediction.
Oh, you're
I
gonna
actually
bounce
think
back to
that
Goldberg, huh?
I actually think the WWE is gonna have Goldberg win it just to have Seth Rollins cash in, and we might possibly have the return of Roman Reigns, and we might see the three Paul Heyman guys together to start the WrestleMania feud
Okay.
at SummerSlam.
So you're switching your prediction.
Yes, sir. A Saturday night main event. This Saturday, Goldberg will win the heavyweight championship.
Yep. And then it's funny because I was on the opposite side of the fence, and now I'm going back to this side of the fence, and I'm going Gunther. So we've been bouncing around both of our predictions just over the last couple of weeks. Crazy that it's on a Saturday too, right?
That
Yeah,
is
and I
actually
mean,
insane. You don't see that too often no more.
You know what I mean? Like a Saturday pay per view. Like,
Yeah,
yes,
like I'm not really crazy into the era like right now. Like even growing up, like I was always into like the CM Punk era. That was probably for me like the shit. I need to get into the Netflix era though, for sure. I definitely need to.
oh
okay,
yeah, man,
so
Here's
let's get it real.
that's when you
eyes.
really became a wrestling fan, Tina's. It was like the
Oh,
CM Punk
dude,
era.
not even that. No, I was a wrestling fan probably since like early age John Cena, like
Right.
beginning Randy Orton, prime Triple H,
Right.
um,
Triple H.
Edge, Rey Mysterio, Batista.
How far back do you go, Robert? When
About
did
the same
you?
as Cena. About
Yeah.
the same as Cena. I mean, I'm on. I've been watching it since I was 8 years old. So
Yeah, I've been watching it since the '90s. So I used to flip back and forth between the channels to watch WW, which was WWF at the time, and WCW. So it was crazy because I would always be watching one, and I'd have to have the remote next to me to switch to the other channel during commercials and stuff.
I
And
agree.
and
I just
people
feel
were
like
even saying like they would record one and then watch one full,
right because
and
I
then
like
go.
how I've heard like the making a lot of references that came back then, but then it's also like stick with the original, man.
And
Make some of your own
WCW
shit.
WCW was actually they would actually try to give away the show prior for WWF. So WWF was pre-recorded, and WCW would find out like what happened during the show, and they would actually say it before the show aired. So they would give away the match winners before the show actually even aired.
oh wow.
So that's how it was back in the day. It was crazy, yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it wasn't that when at one point WCW was getting a lot more views, and then
Yeah,
WWE
so
just
that was
slowly
the
said, "Yeah,
yeah, that's what they considered the Monday Night Wars, right?
that's
And
what I. That's exactly like the probably the start where I started like watching.
so yeah, that's when wrestling
That
I feel
shit
like
was
was at its
insane."
peak, or like in the '90s, and that's when WWE started it. That's when the Attitude Era came about, and they started making stuff a lot more edgier.
Hey,
Yeah,
That's
because
when you
like
hey,
were
don't get
getting
me
man,
wrong,
Sable and Val Venus, and
because
they
look, Robert, I'm gonna say this right now. If you think seeing like John Cena or Stone Cold or like The Rock back in those eras doing something crazy, bro, Sting, Goldberg, freak Hulk Hogan, shit, Hulk Hogan. Oh man, dude, those guys were mad.
Oh, Hulk Hogan was good, bro.
No,
He
but
was
I'm saying in WCW,
he was just
That
those
was
guys were the face, and Kevin Nash. But
and it was I remember just being in that time, and they were literally when Scott Hall and Kevin Nash came over to WCW, they literally made it seem like they were literally the WWF guys taking over WCW.
I don't know. I
So,
always thought Scott Hall was just a little more cockier than how he was. Like, I think he was a good wrestler, but I just thought he was just too cocky. Hulk Hogan, he actually backed up a lot of what he said and a lot of what he was gonna do. Scott Holland, I didn't really see that in him.
well, let me tell you, do you know who invented that Sting Crow black and white character? It was Scott Hall.
Yeah, it was Scott. It was Scott.
Scott Hall made that character. He
Yeah,
came up with the
that's right.
idea
It
for
was
that
Scott.
character.
I'll tell you what,
Yeah,
the
because
Nature
before
Boy.
it was blue and white.
Yeah,
I
he would
think it was
wear
blue
like
and
the
white.
green and the pink, and it was like bright colors, and he was always happy and smiling.
Yeah,
And then when they debuted that Crow, it pretty much he got the inspiration from the movie The Crow with
I always
Brandon
thought he
Lee.
did that for vengeance. I
Well,
didn't think
yeah,
that
that
was.
was part of it, but that's where
Oh,
they
okay.
got the idea. They took the idea for that character from the Crow movie.
Okay. Okay. That makes
Yeah.
sense. That makes sense. Okay.
So yeah, you actually have to give kudos to Scott Hall for actually inventing the Sting black and white character.
Okay.
Yeah, that was actually
I
Scott
didn't
Hall
know
that
that.
came up with that idea.
Yeah, I actually never knew that. That's good to know.
So,
Yeah, so
so where I stay, some wrestlers come down here for vacation. Back in my grandma's day, Ric Flair would come down here.
right.
So she actually got to meet Ric Flair one time in person. Uh, and it was a great experience. She said it was a great experience. She said he's a
Right.
really cool dude. So, and then she got to meet Hulk Hogan. She said Hulk Hogan wasn't a nice guy, man. He was a
Did you
dick.
guys ever watch ECW?
A little bit. I watched a little bit, but not
That's
enough
what
to
gave
where
me
I can
the.
No.
remember all.
I actually got the inspiration to make this logo from the ECW logo.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay.
And that was like
Yeah,
the
that.
original ECW logo.
Yeah, so
That
yeah,
was nice.
that was definitely crazy to watch a lot when I was watching that live younger. That they pushed the limits on quite a bit.
Yeah, because
And a
low
lot
key,
of the
like,
big names came from
mm-hmm.
ECW. Stone Cold was in ECW for a while,
Kevin
and then
Nash.
obviously Mick Foley was in ECW. The Sandman was one of my favorite characters. He would drink beer
Yeah.
and he had a kendo stick and he would hit his head with a beer can when he was coming into the ring.
Oh my god, I remember that.
Yeah, he was definitely one of my favorite characters. RVD got a
Yeah,
huge
or Rob
push.
Van Dam.
Yeah, he was the whole damn show. Like he was Mr. Monday Night. They pushed him hard on ECW.
I remember Rob Van Dam, but I've always seen him more in WWE. But I seen a little bit of him in ECW. He was actually like a very big face there too. But I
Which
was
might make a good. I feel like it'd be a good segment if we were to make like top 10 ECW wrestlers, top 10 current WWE, top 10 all time for each one would I think would be fun.
oh, that would be hard,
That
but I
that
would
would be
love to
fire.
do it. That would be fire.
That would be
So maybe
fire.
we can come up with a list and do one for ECW, WCW, and WWE. We can make a top 10 for all three of those companies. And then maybe we can do like current top 10 for WWE. I feel like that'd be pretty fun too.
Uh, yeah, I definitely agree
I
with
could
you on
definitely
that.
try to edit something. I could definitely try to make something like that.
I,
Yeah.
So if we
whatever.
can put our brains together and try to make a few lists for that, I feel like that would be good.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. I got you. I just can't do it tonight because I gotta work.
No, not tonight. But yeah, maybe
And
something for us to think about moving forward. I think for wrestling segments, I think that would be cool. And
I
then
totally agree.
discuss the top 10 that we made with our other, podcast co-members.
Yeah, I mean, Zip would definitely be good on that. And a
Yeah,
Common.
He was really pushing all in, huh?
Yeah, I think they'd really
Yeah,
be good on it.
yeah. I was
Is there
But this
actually a
was
women's
way?
match, I think we need to hit on real quick.
okay.
Or it's not a match. It's a return of a women's tag team. Asuka and Kyrene Singh is
Oh
returning
yeah,
as the women's tag team for the fourth team in that women's match at Evolution. And shout out
right.
to Evolution, man. It's gonna be it's gonna be a great battle royale. We got Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. Then we got a 30-woman battle royale. Then we got a four-way tag team for the tag team women's gold. We got great matches all around. And then Tiffany Stratton versus Uh, Tr- I can't say her name.
Trish Stratus.
Trish Stratus. Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be great all around.
I didn't even think she was still wrestling. Holy moly!
She
Oh no,
actually
she
came
came
back.
back. She
Tina's.
came back.
Jesus
She came back.
Christ!
I think it was last week. Made a return.
My God, I remember watching her when I was like 5. Fuck.
Yeah, she
Excuse
Yo,
my
came back.
language, but like, my goodness, I didn't think
Yeah,
she
she
still
came
got
back.
in her. Because like
yeah,
I know the
she
last time
still can wrestle, bro.
no, because I
She can still
saw
wrestle.
her. I remember seeing a little bit of her like between like 2015 2020, but I didn't think she still got in her now. Damn. All right.
Well, 2024, she had a Money in the Bank match with, or I think it was Money in the Bank. It might not be, but her and Tiffany had a match against Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. I'm pretty sure,
Okay.
and she was in that match and she was doing great. And so Tiffany gave her a free title shot because she helped her then. So Tiffany gave her a title shot.
Okay. Okay.
Right.
That makes more sense now. That makes more sense. Yeah, because I saw her kind of starting to come back a little bit around like 2015 2020.
But yeah, it's gonna be great evolution. Uh, that's Sunday. So Saturday we got Saturday night main event. We're gonna
Right.
sometime this week we'll touch up on evolution. We'll get all the matches together, give our prediction on it because we gotta show love to the females too. Definitely the rest. They rest. I tell you what, most of the females wrestle harder than the men. Bro, I don't know if you see it, but half the men nowadays, like you see how Braun Breaker punches.
Yeah.
Yo, he punches like, yo, I don't need to punch you hard. You're a millionaire. I'm like, what? We want to
Oh
watch
my.
entertainment. That's
Robert,
what we're
who's
here to watch.
Yeah, it
Who's
doesn't.
your favorite famous or
It
who's your
just doesn't
favorite
look
women's
real at that
wrestler?
point sometimes. Like I felt like kind of like in the 2020, like even now they
He said,
kind of
"Who's
like
my
make it
favorite
try
wrestler?"
a little too hard.
Yeah,
Just a
Robert,
little bit.
who's your favorite women wrestler?
My favorite, Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, that's your
Rhea,
favorite.
Rhea Ripley. All time, all time. I'd have to give it to Nikki Bella. All time,
Nikki Bella is your favorite of all time?
all time.
She's definitely top 5, but Trish is
But
up there.
right now, it's Rhea
Oh my,
Ripley.
who's the girl that was with the Hardy Brothers?
That's Lita.
Yes, thank you.
That's who you like, Tina's?
Yes, that one is
What
Your
about you?
fave?
peak.
Currently, I'm going Alexa Bliss.
Okay.
All
Yeah, if we're
time?
talking currently, for sure.
Yeah. All time? Yeah, I did like Trish a lot. I did like Trish back in the day. Sable was definitely up there.
One I missed that I hope she comes back later on as well. Paige.
Mm.
She was good for a little bit.
Yeah, she went to AEW.
Hey, look,
She had
dude. All I can say to y'all to the page thing is stay tuned to Monday Night Raw and pay attention.
you think Paige is coming back?
All I can say is pay attention.
Just pay attention, he says.
Pay attention for the next 5 weeks. They said they're gonna have. I don't know who's coming back, but there's supposed to be
Right.
two female wrestlers that's coming back.
Two female wrestlers, huh? You think it's gonna be like current? You don't think it's gonna be like
No, no, no.
legends?
One of them's all time. Who's the other one? There's Nikki Bella and someone else. Can't remember her. The other one.
The sister,
Yes.
Brie Bella.
Brie.
Yeah, Bree's supposed to come back.
Okay, that
Yeah,
doesn't
because
surprise
she's
me.
married. Married to Daniel Bryan.
I'm surprised that man has. Is that man even still doing shit?
He's in AEW.
He's in AEW. Okay.
Yeah, he's Bryan Danielson in AEW.
But yeah,
Because
we're
I know
supposed to
he
have.
was. I know he was doing some like high level in WWE for a little bit, and then he left. He was
Who
So
do
doing like a
obviously,
manager at one point or some
Robert,
shit.
Robert's current favorite wrestler is Jay, right?
you? Jey Uso, yeah.
Ye,
Too bad.
and then
Too bad he got. Too bad he got fucked up by Bronson Reed. I tell you what,
uh,
I ever see Bronson Reed, man. I tell you what, I'm gonna go join the WWE just so I can get Bronson Reed. I gotta get my get
um,
back for my boy.
who's your all time?
All time on the men's side.
Yeah,
Damn, that's hard.
you
Yeah.
can't break. You can't think of just one, huh?
Mm. You know what? Most people, the average person would say John Cena, but I'm not the average person, so I'm gonna have to go with my man, R Truth slash Ron Killings.
What? Our Truth's your favorite all time?
Listen, R Truth when
Truth.
listen, you gotta hear me out. You gotta hear me out.
I
When
was
the
gonna be
WWE
unbiased, but not
wasn't
that crazy. Whoa.
listen. When the WWE wasn't entertaining no more, right? You would just turn most people like if you were like me, you would just turn it on to watch R Truth sometimes. Like WWE sometimes went through a dark time.
Okay,
It
that's
wasn't
true. He was a
entertaining at
comic
all.
reliever. That is true. I will
So you
say.
like
I
that
will admit
comic
to that.
relief from Ron
Yeah,
Killings, Our Truth?
I will admit that he is a good comic reliever. He's definitely probably like a top 10 best mic up for sure. I agree. I
I
love his
mean,
mic up skills. Just the way like he actually presents himself. It fits his personality very well, honestly. Especially when he
I
fights.
said what I said, man. It's Ron Killings.
Well, my favorite is Cody Rhodes. Currently, my all time is Sting for sure.
See, okay.
But when we break down this top 10 list, I'm definitely wanting to put Bret Hart. I'm definitely wanting to put Stone Cold. We got to put The Rock up there,
Yeah,
Ric Flair. We did,
I was
we
just
definitely
gonna
got to
say.
put the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels.
Ooh, this one's
And
hard for me. I would say all time favorite for me. This one may sound crazy for some people. Jeff Hardy. That
no,
like one of the most
that's not correct.
acrobatic, proficient, high kick, go to the top rope. He'll use a ladder, a table, fucking chair, anything.
yeah,
How can
Like
y'all?
that
yeah,
man
Hey,
Jeff
was
you can't
Hardy.
forget
Jeff
about
Hardy.
Andre the
I hear a
Giant.
lot of people.
that man was stand on business, bro. When he was in those ropes, nah, it's over. I'm sorry.
You can't forget about Andre the Giant, man.
Yeah, you think we got
Oh
to put
no,
him
you
in the top
can't.
10, Robert?
I don't know if top 10. I see him in top 15.
Top 15? Yeah, this is just a little preview of the list we're going to make. So I just wanted to kind of pick your guys' brain on this for a minute.
But I think, listen. I think you could definitely add. I think you could definitely add. You definitely got to add Randy Orton in there.
I don't know, Robert. I would have to kind of disagree with you with the Andre Giant. I think low key he's
Nope, nope.
probably a top. This may sound crazy, a top 25 wrestler in WWE of all time. Reasons being
I
is
think we
this:
need to put. I think we definitely need to put the Undertaker up there.
there's a lot of big men that we saw later in those years that kind of acted like Andre the Giant. Let's see here: Mark Henry, Big Show, the Great Khali.
Yep.
Those are just three big guys right there that literally try to evolutionize how strength is held in wrestling.
Yeah,
So
but
for
Andre.
that, it's like, bro, if we're talking about heavyweight champion and being a world's strongest man, dude, my goodness, you got to put him in there.
Yeah, man. I mean,
Yeah, I
I
think
just
uh,
think
I
we
think one of my childhood favorites are the Undertaker, so I definitely want to put the Undertaker in there too.
yeah, for
Agree.
sure, for sure. You definitely got to put Mr. Randy Orton.
Yeah,
John
Randy
Cena
Orton.
definitely in there.
Yep, John Cena's got to be there. John Cena has to be there.
I mean, he's only said you definitely got to put the Nature Boy.
Yep, Ric Flair has to be there.
Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah. Mm, I don't know, man.
It's gonna
The
be a
top
hard.
ten.
It's gonna be a hard list to think about. That's gonna be a hard list to think
And
about.
if we did like tag teams, you definitely have to put like the Road Warriors. You definitely have to put the Hardy Boys, the Dudley
This may be
Boys.
biased, but you definitely got to put Jimmy and Jay.
Yeah,
The
the
Shield team.
Usos.
The Usos,
I
yeah.
think the Shield. Even if we did factions like the NWO, the Shield,
The Hardy Brothers.
Degeneration X, the Hart Foundation,
Oh yeah.
Evolution,
Yep.
NWO.
NWO's got to be there.
Sorry, I know that's not WWE, but
TNA.
it's gotta be in there,
You got to
bro.
Well,
put TNA in there.
WWE bought WCW, so they own the rights to most of that.
Alright. That's fair then.
Yeah, they own the rights to most of that, so it's not too far fetched to put them in there. And my personal favorite, the Bullet Club. I feel like even though they are New Japan Pro Wrestling, they're one of my favorite factions of all time.
Yeah, the Bullet. I mean, the Bullet Club's brought out great wrestlers. I mean, was it AJ Styles in the Bullet Club?
Wasn't there a
Was it
faction
Yes,
called the
Ray
sir.
Four
Styles
Horsemen
in the
as
Bullet
well at
Club?
one point?
Oh yeah, the Four Horsemen for
Yeah, the
sure.
Four Horsemen, yeah. I was about to say, I
Who
do
would you
remember
say
that
was the
too.
great? Who would you say is the greatest Bullet Club leader?
Well, you have Kenny Omega, you have AJ Styles, you have Finn Balor, and you have the Switchblade, Jay White.
I think you got to give it to AJ Styles.
Yeah, I'd
He
say
was a very good leader in that Bullet Club.
I think you got to give it to AJ Styles.
Yeah, Finn Balor was the original
he
leader
was always a very good, consistent wrestler.
with
Even when he lost, he had very great matches.
the Machine Gun Carl Anderson and Tamatanga. Yeah, when they started that faction in New Japan Pro Wrestling, it definitely got a lot of steam.
That just sounds like a problem.
While they went to Japan and they used this logo, and it's a skull with ARs and bullets, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
So it really made a lot of waves in Japan when they released this logo and made this the logo for that faction in Japan.
Okay.
that is wild.
Yeah, that one got a lot of steam in Japan, and they were big. They were big. They were running New Japan for quite a while, and then they brought it over to Ring of Honor before. After New Japan, they went over to Ring of Honor.
Chief is here.
What up, Chief?
Hey, so what else do we
What's
need to
up?
talk
What's
about
up?
in wrestling? Are we good on wrestling?
Yeah, we can move over. I mean, if we want to hit on these top 10 lists, we can break down these top 10 lists if you guys want to break these down.
I'm completely down with that.
All right, so let me pull it up.
Is there a way? Yeah, I was about to say, is there a way you can do the background? Because I don't think I can. I'll do it.
All right, so this is the first list. This is current quarterbacks going into next year. We have Patrick Mahomes at 1, Josh Allen at 2, Lamar at 3, Joe Burrow at 4, Matthew Stafford at 5, Jalen Hurts at 6, Dak Prescott at 7, Jared Goff at 8, Baker Mayfield at 9, and Justin Herbert at 10.
And let me keep this in mind as well. This is how they've played for the past 7 years.
Correct.
Okay.
Is there any rebuttal to this list that we made?
The
I think if you're
okay,
gonna,
7 years. Why is Dak? I mean, I could see 2023 he had a, but 2024. Okay, so I want to rebuttal Dak. I mean, I think he should be lower on the list.
You think you should be a
Okay, you
little
don't
lower?
like Dak at set. You don't like Dak at 7.
but the
No, I don't
reason
like
that
Dak.
Dak is at 7 is because so last year, yes, he was hurt. The year before that, he got second in 2023. He got second place in the voting. The year before that, I think there was an injury, and then the year before that, he threw for another 4,500 yards. It's almost an every other year type of a situation where he keeps on performing. I mean, injuries happen, things happen, but he's performing to a caliber every other year, so it keeps him consistent. And up until that injury happens, which I think was what, week 3 or 4 this season, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah,
No,
he's been
it went down
performing at
week
an okay level to stay up to those standards until the injury happens.
I agree. He is one of the more comeback players that have came in the recent era.
Now,
I
is
do
that your
heavily agree
Eagles
on that.
bias, Robert? Is your Eagles bias saying that you don't want
No,
Dak at
I'm just
7?
not even that, man. I think he should be at 10. Just because I get what you're saying, but I mean, I don't want a quarterback that's going to be in there every other season. I want a quarterback that's going to be in there every season, that's going to produce every season. Sure, he's producing every other season, but where are they getting?
I mean, I heavily agree, but we also have to keep in consider Dak Prescott is probably one of the more disciplined quarterbacks in this list. Like, look at people like Jared Goff, who has
Yeah.
been completely bipolar in how many years? Baker Mayfield, who started off in the Cleveland Browns, and yeah, okay, maybe we'll have one playoff game. Whoop-de-doo-doo-doo. But guess what? You didn't get above 3,500 yards out of that entire years you were there. Your max was maybe like 3,100, 3,200, which is okay. But with having double-digit interceptions, that's a pretty tough ratio for me.
I mean, I get where you're coming from.
So it's like, yeah, as lot as it can say, but it's like consistency matters, right?
And
Value matters.
as far as consistency goes, by law of averages, he's been in the league 9 years, now on his third head coach. And the fact that he can, and at least to this point, has remained consistent enough, I don't see why he still can't be. Like, he's, in my opinion, he's up there. Like, I know a lot of people have their bias towards Dak. You either love him or you hate him.
Yep.
But the fact is, he's still got the discipline.
I wouldn't even say it's that people just don't like, not even the Dak, it's just the Cowboys. It's just the Cowboys. Not many people like the Cowboys.
And we discussed this when we made this list. The one name that's missing from this list is CJ Stroud. And along with the JD5, we're obviously not going off 1 year body of work to make our top 10. We're not including rookies because I just don't think that's right to include 1 year body of work. So CJ Stroud did not make the list. So we might get a little bit of pushback for not having CJ Stroud on the list. But I think I'm going to put Justin Herbert over CJ Stroud. I'm going to put Baker over CJ. I'm going to put Jared Goff over CJ Stroud.
And I agree with that. Like you said, A-Train,
Mm-hmm.
it's more or less of, in my opinion, before you can put a quarterback on any type of top 10 list or rankings list or anything else, I believe a minimum requirement of 3 seasons is adequate before you can add them to said list, unless the variable, if they win the Super Bowl their very first year. If that happens, you let me know.
Very well said, good
That
sir.
that happens, I'm done.
All right, go to the next one, good sir.
Yo, did we just get kicked?
That was very well said, by the way. You're muted, A-Train.
Are we all still here?
Yeah.
I don't think I'm here.
No, you are. It just says
We can hear you, Robert.
Oh, I just can't
yeah, it
change my.
just has A-Train in the front screen.
Oh, okay.
I think it's JB did that so that we can see the list better.
Okay.
So these are
So
basically
we're all still here.
the behind years.
Is
So this would
this is the
be
next one, Tinez, right?
Tom Brady,
yes.
Aaron
Hold on,
Rodgers, Drew Brees.
1 second.
Because we're going back every what was it? Did we go back every 5 or 7 years?
7 years. So this will basically be 2017 to 2010.
Okay, we have Tom Brady at 1. We have Aaron Rodgers at 2. We have Drew Brees at 3. We have Big Ben at 4. We have Peyton Manning at 5. We have Phillip Rivers at 6. We have Russell Wilson at 7. We have Cam Newton at 8. And we have Matthew Stafford at 9 with Matty Ice finishing up in the top 10.
I'm going to start off by this right now. Don't mean to jump over anyone, but I'm going to start off right now. Peyton Manning belongs at 2, in my opinion.
Really?
Yes.
Even with
After
one of the most embarrassing Super Bowls?
That's, you know what, Super Bowl playoff wins, even the Super Bowl, those are team situations.
Yeah,
What I'm talking about is from 2013 till 2016, or because it was February of 2016 when he rode off into the sunset.
Right.
From that time in Denver, he had one of the greatest stretches of a football career I've seen, especially as a comeback after everyone thought he was done after his neck injury. I believe he belongs at number 2.
Yep. And 55 touchdowns in a single season. That tells
That's
you a
crazy.
lot.
It pains me to say that as a Chiefs fan, but I got to give him his credit.
Yeah, the sheriff I feel like should have been higher too when we made this list. But it's all opinion at this point. When we made these lists, we decided to have 10 quarterbacks and we could interchange where they're ranked and stuff, but we came up with just the top 10. So we can always
That's a
change this moving forward, but this is kind of what we came up with.
And even with Payne being at 2, I mean, another one, Aaron Rodgers was definitely, in my opinion, probably should be either 3 or maybe 4. I probably would say probably Drew at 4. And it's just because, they had a lot of MVPs and a lot of, accolades, but they didn't really heavily go up to the standard of actually succeeding for their franchise.
I can't remember who did we have as honorable mentions, because I feel like possibly at least 1 or 2 honorable mentions possibly could be substituted out for Matt Ryan.
Yeah, we threw Matty Ice in at 10. I remember we had a couple more names. I can't think off the top of my head of who we had.
Andrew Luck.
Oh, yeah, Andrew Luck was in there for sure.
And also, in my opinion, Joe Flacco. But
yeah, you wanted to put Joe Flacco on a list. I remember you saying
look,
that.
He was
more consistent.
you know what?
Than
I would be
Brown.
willing. I'll say this. Because Flacco, I felt he was more consistent than Ryan. It's just their peaks happened at the beginning versus the end of this window.
Agree. I can see what you mean.
So yeah, obviously the list is interchangeable, but this is the top 10 we could come up with going 7 years back from today.
Yeah, no, we argued about this on and on again. Honestly, I think the only one that's probably arguably that I think hands down should probably be in this top 10 is probably Andrew Luck, considering how consistently developing that kid was.
And I'm with Keith on this one. I would have had Peyton up higher. I would have put Peyton at 2 as well. I kind of wasn't happy putting him at 5.
Wouldn't you? Well, didn't Andrew Luck have some injury situations didn't he miss a decent amount of work, or am I wrong?
Yeah.
Yes.
He
correct,
definitely battled with injuries.
but y'all just didn't battle injuries?
Yeah,
yes,
same thing.
It was only
we can't be biased here. If you want to say Andrew Luck battled injuries, so did Dak.
Yeah, but also with a very short career and retired very early because of those injuries. Dak was lucky to be one of those to just persevere and move on.
Andrew Luck only retired 2 years after this window was finished.
Like, you gotta think about it like this, Robert. The average QB that only lasts about 7 years, and that's with or without injuries. So him having to do that with getting beat up by people like Ray Lewis, Brian Urlacher, Patrick Willis, and Reed, dude, oh my goodness.
That definitely should put him in there. That he should definitely be in the top 10.
Yeah, that was current. So I just wanted to make sure everyone gets a a good view of current. And then, like I said, we go back every 7 years. So you, Robert didn't like Dak at 7. He wants Dak lower. Everybody else kind of agreed with this list, and then we moved forward to that list, which was 7 years back, and we
Which I
had
me and who else said Andrew Luck should be up there?
so
I can't see your
that's
name.
who. Yeah, we argued Andrew Luck and we argued Joe Flacco, but
Yeah, I'll put Andrew Luck up there over Joe.
Yep. Thank you.
all
I don't
right,
know who that was, but thank you.
and we can also go back another 7 years. We're
Yes,
gonna go
sir,
back
we can.
on the next one. We're going back another 7 years,
So
and
this will
now
be 2009 to 2002.
we do have Peyton at 2.
Okay, Tom Brady, Peyton, Big Ben, Drew Brees, but
Yeah, so number 1, Tom Brady. Number 2, Peyton Manning. Number 3, Big Ben. Number 4, Drew Brees. Number 5, Brett Favre. Number 6, Kurt Warner. Number 7, Donovan McNabb. Number 8, Philip Rivers. Number 9, Eli Manning. And number 10, Steve McNair.
All right, so you said this is from 2002 to 2009.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I
I will
would
have to say this right now. You'll have to put Big Ben up a little at 2 because I mean, I know you know how I feel about playoff wins, but playoff success and everything else. But he had 4 AFC title appearances. I think he had more than Manning, so that's one thing right there. As far as I would say this, if you do that, move Manning down. I mean, Breeze was only relevant for half the time from 2007 to 2009.
Yeah, but even
So
then, you can arguably say those were probably one of the most efficient years I think we've ever seen
true,
out of Drew
but I'll
Brees.
say this:
Ever.
I would yes. Here's the thing: my love is with Kurt Warner and what he did there in Arizona.
I get that, but then I even said Brett Favre even did the same thing for the Packers. So, I mean, that's a little
Did he
disappointing.
though? He pulled Brett Favre things.
He gave him a ring.
Not in this era.
When
Not in
did he?
this. Not in this window. He
Would that be the
didn't.
one before? Am I
I know,
thinking?
but not in this era. He did not give them a ring. He gave them playoff disappointment. He
When did
gave
he get?
them
Wait, what year did he get a ring?
97, 90, was it 97
No,
Super
it's
Bowl.
about, yeah, it's more back. That's right. Yeah, so it's the one before. Okay.
So
Because I know we have him, I think, a little higher.
yeah, no. So I get it back then, but and that's the thing though is he had his signs of greatness in this era. I'm not going to sit there and say that he didn't, but I just feel as far as you also have to look at where these guys finished just a little bit, and I do think right between 2002 to 2009, as far as I remember, Brett Favre just kept getting upset after upset in the NFC Championship, and I think
Agree,
that
because
hurt him.
you had more zone scheme at that point, too. A lot more zone scheme defenses were developing, and he just couldn't really adapt to it. So I can see what you're going with here. Very less man-to-man.
All right, and then we'll go back another 7 years. All right, we have
That's
Andrew Luck. We have
that's
Tony
the honorable.
Romo. What's that?
That's not the point decade. That's the honorable mentions list. You're looking for the one that's supposed to be John Elway, Dan, and then Brett. That's from 2001 to 94. Yeah. 2001 to 94. John Elway, Dan Marino, Brett Favre, Steve Young, Kurt Warner, Jim Kelly, Troy Aikman, Warren Moon, Drew Bledsoe, and Rich Gannon. This is where it
Okay.
gets hard because then you start thinking of success here,
I
especially in
can't
these
put. I
years.
can't. Okay. Now, as far as success goes, here's my thing. Can you really put Dan Marino that high? Did he have any? Now, keep in mind, I know it's a question. How many AFC titles did the man have in the 90s as far as appearances go?
I think like 2 or 3.
Did he?
Pretty sure. Hold on.
So, yeah, quickly see if he can pull that up because if he had less than 3, meaning 2 or 1, he's got to drop down a peg or 2 because Kurt Warner had the greatest show on turf. Steve Young, that's a hard one. Because he was kind of right in the middle of coming off of a Joe Montana,
Yeah,
just
he went to
amazing
3 AFC championship games.
in the 90s, and okay, I'll give him that because I understand as far as what that means.
Yeah.
But man, the fact that we put Bledsoe up here, I gotta say, that's impressive.
Even though that isn't a little bit later in the careers, arguably he was very much one of the more efficient quarterbacks. Brett Favre, he was very great in that Super Bowl, but
I mean,
I
Brett
would
Favre
rather
was, as soon as Brett Favre touched Lambeau Field, it was a flip of a light switch with
yeah.
Green Bay. They figured themselves out. The only thing that honestly weirds me out to this point is the fact that I get why we put Troy so high, but
Would you put Steve Young over him? Over Brett
no,
Favre?
I wouldn't. Well,
Really?
over Brett Favre? No, I wouldn't. But I would honestly put Troy over Steve.
Okay. Okay. I mean, that that one's very hard.
How it was in the 90s, you had guys that were honestly they were battling the entire regular season to
That
where
would
it
be a
almost
great
came
debate.
down. Yes, it almost came down to the postseason back then because also different era of football. It's not like it is today where we can separate the two. Back then, the postseason meant everything. Today's league, you can honestly make a case between regular season and postseason, even though the ultimate goal is a Super Bowl.
So, Chief, you'd take Drew Bledsoe out of the top 10, and you don't like the Drew Bledsoe one?
I personally don't care for Drew Bledsoe in the top 10.
Okay.
Wow.
But as far as who you would ask me to replace him with, you know what? You can ask me next week.
Yeah,
Because-
exactly. It's too
But-
tough. Like, it was tough to make these lists.
Yeah, you can ask me next week because I'll tell you what, as far as going through top 10 lists through different decades, eras, however you want to call it, I'm not going to say he wasn't great.
Agreed.
But
But
at the
it's
same
kind of a
time-
wishy-washy thing because then you got to think of like precision and accolades as well.
And both of his tenders with Dallas and New England ended with injury.
Yep, it did, and it was terrible. Because then,
Yeah, and
but
I feel as
bless
far
Tom
as how
Brady.
much. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I'm just saying as far as injuries go, I believe that has a major factor in which the end of your tenure with that respective team holds a piece to your career.
No, 100%.
So, yeah, John Elway 1, Dan Marino 2, Brett Favre 3, Steve Young 4, Kurt Warner 5, Jim Kelly 6, Troy Aikman 7, Warren Moon 8, Drew Bledsoe 9, and Rich Gannon 10. All right, and we'll go to the next one. Bear with me. All right, this I believe would be the next one, right, Tinez?
Yes, sir, it is. Wait,
All right.
no,
No?
that's that's the one. That's the one after. You need to find the one where it has Warren Moon at 5. Phil Simms. You should also see Bernie Kosar in there. Excuse me. But dear God, Bernie Kosar. Such a name. Yeah, no, that is not the one, A-Train.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it. Yeah, I don't know. Because I have. Yeah, that's too far back. Let's see. So I have.
Just keep scrolling. I'll tell you when to stop. Wait. No. No.
That was honorable mention. Yeah, that's current. Yeah, I don't think I have it.
I'm gonna have to send it to you again then. What the heck?
So I guess
That's weird. Hold on.
Well, I'll have to jump to this one. Oh wait, no, that was the one we were on. So this would be. Yeah, you're right. I'm missing one.
85-78.
Yep.
Yeah. That's weird. Hold on.
So we have Joe Montana at 1, John Elway at 2, Dan Marino at 3, Jim Kelly at 4, Dan Fouts at 5, Roger Staubach at 6, Joe Theismann at 7, Jim Plunkett at 8, Terry Bradshaw at 9, and Ken Stabler at 10. This is when we're digging deep into territories we didn't really see.
I have no fight in this game because I will tell you right now, I think the last title the Steelers won was at that time was in '76.
Right.
So Bradshaw doesn't belong on this list.
I just sent it to you.
So, but that's my. I mean, as far as Montana, Elway, and Brady, I think I can't really be. I think if anything, move Roger up 2 spots. But I mean, keep in mind this is just me thinking of the football knowledge that I know.
Yeah. I agree. Okay, now we're back to the 93 and 86. So this will have Joe Montana, John Elway, Dan Marino, Jim Kelly, Warren Moon, Phil Simms, Randall Cunningham, Bernie Kosar, Boomer Esiason, and Mark Rain.
Mark Rippon.
Ribbon? Oh, yeah, it is Ribbon. I can never pronounce that name. God, I'm terrible at pronouncing names.
Oh, we know.
Wow. I'm sorry that I couldn't use cursive writing. God dang it.
But yeah, Montana, obviously, he was the man during this era. John Elway was the man. Dan Marino was the man. Jim Kelly, he never quite got over that hump. Warren Moon was definitely a man here. Randall Cunningham. There's a lot of guys that you could say should have been in the Hall of Fame or close to.
I think the one guy that probably should be just a little bit higher, and this is just my personal opinion, will probably be Randall Cunningham, because that was probably one of the first times where we got to see what it really was, like a true dual threat quarterback. He ran, he played point, he threw the ball well. He was a beautiful escape artist.
But can you really say just because he was a dual threat quarterback, let's go down, because that's when you have to start asking, okay, what were all the accolades that he accrued that would actually make it worth moving him up?
True that, but then also without him, you wouldn't see other players like Lamar or even then Michael Vick or Cam Newton. So in my opinion, I mean, he maybe didn't lead up to those accolades, but he most definitely evolutionized the game, especially when it came to how his style was. So I see what you mean, but
I think I would have moved Randall Cunningham up over Phil Simms, honestly, just looking at this list.
Hey, and I can't really argue that, but I'm just saying, in my opinion, in my preference, I would probably have him at 6 just because he was probably he was really one of those guys that evolutionized the game. And that's for me like the only reason. Other than that, I probably could not move anybody else here.
Hold on, really quick. Where did we put Warren Moon in this situation? I'm sorry.
5.
Okay, I think Warren Moon was more of that dual threat than Randall, if I remember correctly.
I mean, I would say maybe more athletic, but not as elusive. Not as elusiveness. More
Like more of an
aggressive.
extender versus a runner, almost like a running back quarterback sitch.
Like he
a
wasn't like Steve McNair was probably more like a Randall Cunningham in my opinion.
Gotcha. I'm just saying I get to use my favorite word of hybrid.
I mean, yeah, true, but then there's also improvising, which is also like Warren Moon, John Elway, Joe Montana. So there's a very big difference, especially when you look at how those QBs play and what are their options. Randall Cunningham, he didn't really have a lot of options. He made his skill his own weapon. So I mean that's why his nickname is literally called that. It's the ultimate weapon.
I prefer the human joystick.
Good one. Anyways, we can go to the following next one, Adrian. We can go back to the damn fast because I actually wanted to talk about Terry Bradshaw. That's probably another guy who I think should probably maybe be at 7.
But here's my issue with Terry Bradshaw because he got 4 Super Bowls. I'm not going to discredit it because he was still a part of one of the greatest teams greatest dynasties in an era. But you know as well as I do, he was not the first choice.
True.
So it comes to the age-old debate where, yes, he did a lot of great things. He was also not the number 1 QB at his college he played for. In Phil Robertson. He was also, in my opinion, hate to discredit him, he seems like a nice guy, but he was that dude that showed up to a science project that literally just wanted the credit. He was put in short yardage situations. He didn't have to perform honestly that bad because he had one of the greatest defenses in NFL history.
Yes. Yeah, that is true. That is very true. And one of the better running backs, Franco Harris.
Don't even get me started on Franco Harris because as far as when it comes to legendary NFL players, I think Franco Harris is literally one of the top NFL players, one of the greatest players in NFL history.
Wow.
Like I think look at the way how the 60s went up into the transition from the AFL and the NFL into the merger. And then you had the 70s with the Steel Curtain, who was honestly the defense had more hype than the offense. And then you had Franco Harris come out of absolutely nowhere with that immaculate reception. And I'm saying all this, I'm not even a Steelers fan.
There should be Coach Common here.
I mean, I think honestly he might be a little proud of me tonight.
Common.
Yeah, shout out Coach Common. But I just look at it this way. He is one of those transcendent figures, in my opinion, especially in that decade.
Well, I'm actually happy. I'm actually happy we have Terry Bradshaw at 9 right now because Common's not here right now. So now's the time.
we don't need that smoke of him coming in here and flipping a lid and needing blood pressure medication.
Now's the time I can slander Terry Bradshaw because he reaped all the benefits from the team that was around him.
JB.
And I mean, honestly, when we made this list, I wanted to put Ken Stabler a little bit higher too. And it's crazy we have 2 Raiders quarterbacks on here too.
Yeah.
we got Plunkett and Stabler on this list, and yeah, not a big fan of the Raiders, but I would have probably put them a little bit higher.
I mean,
Gotcha.
true, but they both were pretty short.
Well, and then we're gonna
Beginning
be
and end.
uncharted waters here soon because
I can't.
Oh
This is
yeah,
the
no, the
hard
next
part where
one's
I
gonna
think
be
when you
next
guys
one's
were
gonna be
making this
crazy.
list, you guys went way too far back.
By the way, that's Roger Staubach at 1.
I I can't. I have no
We're gonna have that
criticism
as a
of.
start off right there.
Okay,
Yep.
I have no criticism of this list other than Terry Bradshaw needs to be a little lower. I mean, the only but keep him at 5 just because he won all them Super Bowls. But other than that, like I hate saying it like that. Now I do love. Let me guess. What decade is this?
77 to 70.
You can, the only reason okay, I'll even put Lenny Dawson at 10. I'll move Lenny Dawson down a peg to 10 because I'm sorry, as much as I love Lenny Dawson, I the 70s were abysmal for us.
the Chiefs
Honestly,
weren't the Chiefs of today back then. You're saying?
no. See, here's this little thing. I don't know if many of you know this. From I want to say it was the year we won Super Bowl 4, which was 69, all the way up to I want to say the year 1990. Bit of a poverty stretch. The 70s were abysmal, the 80s were abysmal. And then Carl Peterson got brought in, drafted Derek Thomas, brought in Marty Schottenheimer, and they honestly saved football in Kansas City. So you had the 90s that were good, albeit you know playing Marty ball, doing all that stuff. Had a glimmer of hope with Dick Vermeil in the early 2000s. Herm Edwards completely dismantled us. Todd Haley gave us one good season, then fell apart. And then we didn't have any good seasons until about, Andy Reid showed up, which was 2013. And then it's just been going up and up and up ever since. But
All right, so I'll just read this list off since I got it up here. Roger Staubach at 1, Fran Tarkington at 2, Terry Bradshaw at 3, Ken Stabler at 4, Bob Greasy at 5, Ken Anderson at 6, Burt Jones at 7, Billy Kilmer at 8, Len Dawson at 9, and Roman Gabriel at 10.
I don't really have any objections.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think I have any moves either. Honestly, the only one I would say that's that you could maybe throw in there that was probably a little bit better was probably Fran Tarkenton, in my opinion.
Well, he's at 2. You wanted to
He
move him
is.
up?
I would probably it's hard because the thing is that is Prime Roger, and while Prime Roger was literally one of the most efficient quarterbacks in that era, Fran Tarkenton was very much more disciplined with the football as well. So it's very hard to say when you're
Robert, you're still here. Okay, we're just doing solo layout so everybody can see the prompt.
It's very hard when you're trying to compare a performer to an actual manager with the football.
Right. Yeah,
okay.
we're getting into uncharted territory here because
I agree.
none of us were
My bad.
alive for these eras. We just know what we've seen online, and
And that's the thing, though, is even if you had Southgate in here, as old as that man is, I don't know if he would be able to explain all of this. I'm going to be real with you.
right. Alrighty, so obviously this is what we're back into early 70s. What
60.
is this, Tines?
This is gonna be 69 to 62.
69 to 62. All right,
So
we
at
This is
have
the last one.
that point, you could honestly put Lenny a little higher, which you did. So I'm okay with that because between 66 and 70, I mean, they were lights out. I mean, the only thing, yeah, you could almost put Johnny Unitas down a grade and swap out him and Lenny.
Really?
All right, let me just read off the list. Number 1, Bart Starr. Number 2, Johnny Unitas. Number 3, Len Dawson. Number 4, Joe Namath. Number 5, Fran Tarkington. Number 6, Sonny Jorgensen. Number 7, George Blanda. Number 8, Y.A. Tittle. Number 9, Roman Gabriel. And number 10, LaMonica Laman. I think I said that
Yo,
right.
I have nothing nice to say about Raiders quarterbacks, and that's my biased opinion.
And another 2 Raiders quarterbacks on here.
yo,
Oh
what
my
you?
goodness, that's amazing.
This is, how am I going to speak on something from the 60s? I feel like that's
Yeah, I
very
don't
Well,
think
tough.
any of us
I know.
can.
This
Oh,
is the
okay,
one that
for the
Otis
time.
stepped
What
in.
about this, man? Shit, see?
Well,
That's who we
we
should
got
have
to look
got
at
was
it.
Otis up here to break
We
this
got to
down.
look at it this way, though. At the time,
Hold on.
from six, you said this was 63 to 69.
Yeah.
Basically.
Okay, so from 63 to 69. You know
What
what?
was
I think
that?
we're good here.
Yeah, we'll
This is
have to
great.
bring this list back up to our old timers.
Yeah,
All
we
right,
got.
now we can.
They're on
Once
a
you did
bye week
that,
this week, apparently, when we needed them.
That's right. Hey, if I may ask before I got in here, what'd you guys cover?
Pro wrestling, and then we started breaking down the list.
That's good. Okay, cool. So, okay.
You hopped in right when we started doing the list. So
Oh, dude, I did it. I can't do pro wrestling, so you know me.
okay, so you came in at a good time then.
Hey, it's HBK at 1, Triple H at 2 for me. That's all it
Well,
is.
we didn't make a top 10. I do want to do
we
that.
also have honorable mentions. They're all time, by the way.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Hey, if someone's got some background noise that's a little loud, if y'all can mute up. Thank you.
So
Yeah,
what's the
So
next one?
So hey, has anybody seen anything as far like we might as well go at it at this point. Has anybody seen anything interesting in the sports news world that regardless of if it's big or small that you actually think is something to talk about here? Because we all look at our own spaces, we all have our own places, regardless if it's local to home, but in the professional world, you know what I mean? If you don't
Well,
mind, I'll start first. So, like right now, let me turn on my camera for this one, just so that way we can make this the right way. So, like right now, for those of you that have not seen or heard, the biggest thing right now for the Chiefs, because I'm a big Chiefs fan, the Star Bonds deadline got pushed from June 30th to a year from then, but the deadline for a stadium proposal has been initiated to December 30th of 2025. So they have to submit a proposal by December 30th, but they have to say that they want to go through with the plans by June 30th of 2026. So for those of you that don't know right now, the stadium situation in Kansas City is a bit of abysmal situation where right now the Chiefs and the Royals are honestly going through a situation right now where they both need new stadiums. There's a lease going on. There's a lease ending for both teams at the end of 2031, meaning they have to find new homes or stay there. So right now, what's going on is it's looking like from where we're sitting, the Royals are going to move into Kansas, and the Chiefs right now they have asked for an extension from the state of Kansas. However, I feel since Arrowhead Stadium was Lamar Hunt's dream, and Clark Hunt believes in nostalgia for everything, I do believe that the Kansas City Chiefs at this point are going to stay into Arrowhead Stadium and just remodel it.
Okay.
yeah,
yeah,
there's
I can
talk
see
about
that.
we talked about this earlier. There's talk about the Broncos renovating their stadium or moving out by the airport, out by DIA, Denver International Airport. Yeah, I would rather them remodel our stadium. So there's definitely talks around the NFL about certain teams remodeling their stadium or moving. So that's good you hit on that, Chief, because that's what I was told about our stadium too. Is they were talking about us moving out by the airport in Denver, and we'll see how that plays out. It'd be nice to get a dome.
See, that's another place for us as
So
well.
when you and I were talking about that earlier today, I did find out. So the Denver Broncos are in talks with both municipalities of the city of Denver and the city of Aurora, which is where the airport is out there, if I looked at it correctly,
Correct. Yep.
where they're honestly trying to find a new home. Now, it could be they were saying almost a $600 million renovation, or you're looking at a $4 billion stadium. Those are your options right now at this present time.
Well, and like if you renovate a stadium or if you make it a dome, indoor, outdoor with a dome, you have more of a chance of hosting a Super Bowl,
Mm-hmm.
And
But
yeah,
you,
and you guys are in
but
a prime area too, where you guys got hotels and everything
well,
like that.
the
Kansas City,
hard
the
part
Chiefs
is
don't.
Right.
well, no, we don't. The way how it is you have the Truman Sports Complex, which there's a hotel out there. There's not much, and Mark Donovan has come out and multiple times saying he doesn't. There's no way to really renovate out there unless if the Royals leave and they tear down Kauffman and they put up like a Patriot Place or the Battery in Atlanta or Wrigleyville with the Cubs. That's the only way that they're going to be able to do that.
Okay.
But other than that, they have no inclination to want to remodel out there. Whereas opposed to the other spot that I've seen, if the Chiefs were to move to Kansas at this point, they could move into Wyandotte County over by the Legends, which has hotels and bars, restaurants, lodging, all of that. But they also can still make their own, I guess, their own type of place like those, the Battery and such. But the other thing is they also have to redo their training facility, which, in my opinion, you have to build that up almost like you have to build what the Vikings just built with their training facility, what they just built with the Dallas Cowboys and the Star down in Frisco.
I see what you're saying. That actually takes a lot of investing when you really think about it, especially when it comes to a long-term situation and cap space, especially for your franchise as a whole.
Facts.
But no, for me, as far as like news, as far as sports lately, honestly, it's probably been more basketball lately for me than probably football. I don't know if y'all really have heard, but Banchero got like $239 million at a rookie max deal.
Right.
Yeah,
No,
that's
I get.
ridiculous. I know, right? Like, now do I think he's worth that much money? Yes and no. Yes and no. Because I mean, he literally leads that franchise. He's the lead. He's been the leader of that franchise. He's always been the main guy. So I guess for if that is what he wants for that particular franchise, and if that's what he wants to stay with, I can't really argue with him as far as that.
With all things considered, where do you guys see Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers doing this year? I really liked how they were turning it on to end the season, mid to end. Uh, I know I've made a statement a couple of times on TikTok that give 2 years, Bryce Young will be better than Jalen Hurts.
Oh no, not this
You know,
year.
What do you guys
but
think?
I can agree with that. I
Yeah,
really can. I honestly can because not just because of Yeah, he's shorter. Yeah, he's,
Yeah.
there are a lot of things away from him right now that are not working in his favor. But the biggest thing that I see right now with Bryce Young is not even on the field, it's in the front office. The coach and the GM went to David Tepper, their owner, and legitimately told him to let us do our jobs, had a serious come to Jesus meeting with that dude, and let them honestly do their jobs. Since they did that, they gave every single team, including the Chiefs and the Eagles, who were in the Super Bowl, gave them fits for the rest of the
Yep.
season.
Run for the money.
There was not a clear blowout from the Carolina Panthers on the losing end for the rest of the season. They gave them fits and they're moving in the right direction. I'm not saying they're going to do
Yep.
anything this year, but
I
I'm
agree.
telling you, in the years to come, they are coming.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
I don't agree with you guys. I don't see this. I don't see it personally. I mean, it's just my opinion. You guys are entitled to your opinion. I'm entitled to mine. I Dude, this guy was benched for Andy Dalton, right? He did bounce back after he got benched, and he did look better after he got benched for Andy Dalton. But to me,
Not the
Carolina
Andy
Panthers
Dalton.
are not there yet.
Okay.
yeah, I don't think he's in 2 years he'll be better than Jalen Hurts. I think that's
Like
way
I
too far.
like I said, hey, A-Train, answer me this. Would you do better if your boss was up your ass?
Right, exactly, right?
Facts.
That's all I'm
And
saying. If
he gave a run. He gave the two top defenses, top five defense, one of the number one defense, a run for their money. Bryce Young did with Carolina Panthers offense.
Okay.
Who's out
When he
there?
gets to play, hold on, real quick. When he gets a playoff
He
win,
almost beat the
then
Eagles.
he
He
can come back to
almost
the
beat the
yes,
league.
Chiefs.
he
Yes, but
Almost.
dude, that's
yes,
so
Almost.
much more
He was
improvement than what he was
awful.
doing before he got benched.
But that's
yes.
not
And
that's
now I deserve. Now I will say this: I feel he deserved to get benched at the time, but I look at the metrics from the way that team was going up because I think he got benched after week 4, right?
Yeah.
Sounds about
Yep.
right.
Some
Yep.
yeah. So he got benched after at least the first 5 or 6 weeks, and Andy Dalton took over a couple of weeks. So I completely agree with that. I'm not going to say that that's a bad thing, especially if you have a competent quarterback. People can say what they want about Andy Dalton. He's consistent. He always has been. So when I look at it that way, sometimes, especially as young as Bryce Young is, regardless of how many years he's been in the league, or if it was his rookie year or anything else, sometimes Joe Flacco proved that a humble veteran can come in and help a team out. And that's what Andy Dalton did. But at the same time, on the back end, their head coach and their GM were able to go to David Tepper and their owner and say, "Hey, you need to step off." Because look at it this way: what if someone was? What if now? Granted, they'd probably be fired. Let's just be real about it. What if they went to Jerry Jones and said, "Hey, let me coach my team. You gave me all the pieces. I appreciate it.
And I
Let me
ain't trying
coach
to
my
be a
team."
hater, but am I supposed to be moved by Xavier Leggett, Bryce Young, Chuba Hubbard? Like those
Uh,
outside of
Chuba
those three
Hubbard.
guys,
Hey, you're going to sit there and tell me Chuba Hubbard did not perform last year?
but outside of those three names, what moves me on that team?
And that's what I'm
that.
saying. You don't have to be moved like that. You know what
Well,
I
yeah.
mean?
Didn't
I'm
they
not
just
moved by the
finally?
names at all. I'm not moved by
No,
the names.
no, 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 no,
But
no.
you don't have to have names that move you
J.C.
to make
Horn,
a
J-
movement.
yeah, J.C. Horn. Outside of those four names, I couldn't fucking tell you a Panther.
No, neither can I. I can't even name their head coach or their GM, but I can tell you what they
Me
did
either.
to their owner, David Tepper.
Right, those four
Because in
names are
my
the only
opinion,
names
that's a
that come off the top of
big
my head
thing.
with that team.
But in my opinion, that's a big thing. Having the cojones to go to your owner and say, "Hey, I know what you brought me in for, and I want to get this done. Let me do my job. Please take a step back."
Yeah.
Last person to do that was John Fox.
Yep.
And look where that
And
went. And I mean, back then, realistically, you had about the same trait. Who could you name on that team? Jonathan Stewart. You had what? Musa Muhammad, Steve Smith.
yeah, no,
Really, I
you
mean,
did.
who else? They're a low budget team, so they're not going to have big
No,
players, big names. You know.
I mean,
Yeah, that ownership. That the owner cares more about racing, right?
no. I don't think David Tepper's involved in racing last night, unless if he's involved in IMSA or Formula One.
Oh no, was it? I forgot. He has another professional team he's invested into. I don't know if it was racing or there's something else he is
I mean, it
investing
wouldn't
into.
surprise me being from Charlotte, but yeah, I know
Yeah,
what you mean. I'll look it up.
yeah, I think it was racing, but I'm not. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, I mean, I think the Panthers. Maybe we could talk about this in a couple of years, but as of right now, I'm not moved by the Carolina Panthers. I feel like, and maybe I could be wrong. This could be where I put my foot in my mouth before the season starts. But I'm taking Atlanta. I'm taking Tampa Bay. We all know that the Saints are the bottom feeders of that division, but I would rather take Atlanta to take the big step forward over Carolina personally.
I got Tampa Bay winning that division, but that I was on with better betters earlier, and it's a toss up between Carolina and Atlanta.
Right.
I think and then you
It,
got your, like you said,
oh,
the bottom feeders of that division. And like I said, man, I'm not
so
saying expect anything next year or even the year after that, but you give it 2 full years. So on year 3 from this mark, and he could be better than Jalen Hurts. I'm not saying he's going to yet. I'm not even clarifying and making a statement, but the way the man plays, the two defenses he went against within 3 weeks of each other, back to back to back, almost put them guys down under, both teams, both defenses. I mean, man, like you said, you can only
and
name four players on that team, but
after a quick Google search, the man owns Charlotte FC, which is the MLS soccer club.
Yeah, it's soccer. That's what I thought it was.
But I mean, also, you're going to have very soon, in my opinion, the owner of the Dodgers who just bought the Lakers. You're going to tell me at some point this man's not going to get into a football franchise? I mean, don't get me wrong. I feel between at some point on the West Coast, there's going to become an NFL team for sale to where I could also see the owner of the Dodgers and the Lakers taking over one of those franchises.
Right.
Because you have a lot of these NFL owners, in my opinion, who are honestly getting up there in age. The hardest part that you could do, especially in certain states, deal with inheritance taxes. Like, I'm worried right now for the Bears as far as the McCaskey family having to sell because of the inheritance tax. I don't know what they do.
Right.
So I see over the next 10 years, you're going to have a major shift in ownerships with NFL teams, because not only that, they also have these teams that they've just passed a rule where these major equity firms can come in and take over a decent side of ownership just to help out with signing bonuses and straight cash.
Straight cash, homie.
Yes, straight cash, homie. That's what I'm talking about. That's the way I see them, because they want to bring these people in. Because look at Boston, the Red Sox. They're owned by the Fenway Group. Okay, right? You have oh God, who is the major? There was a major equity firm that just took over an NFL franchise not too long ago, or not took over, but bought a major stake in it. Since this rule change happened, oh gosh, I cannot remember it, but it's I will tell you this, within the next 10 years you're going to see a major ownership change as far as percentages go, regardless if it's MLB or anything else. But on the NFL side, you're going to start seeing this, and that is a major conversation to have. I mean, I'm one of those people, I love sports and everything else, but I love the background. I love seeing what the stadium deals are doing, what the front ownership is doing, the front office, all of that. I love seeing that stuff portray and play itself out, because I think it's going to honestly shape this league into a different mold within the next 10 years.
Yeah, is what helps invest. It's a business
I
thing
want
too. Yeah.
I'm gonna interject really quick.
You're breaking up, JB. Sorry, bud.
And plus, going off that, I mean, it's literally a business at that point, especially when you're working for something professionally.
Well,
So,
True.
well,
honestly,
guys,
you
that
guys
was
give it
a
your
that
best.
was a good episode. I'm glad we got to break everything down.
Oh, and I
And
did have
one thing real quick.
Go ahead.
Real quick.
Okay.
This is a Theo statement about Bryce Young. I'm just not moved by it, man. That's all I got to add, bro. I'm not moved about Bryce Young being better than Jalen Hurts in 2 years.
Robert's all hurt.
No, I'm not hurt. I'm just saying, two
You're
years. Is Bryce
hurts.
Young gonna be able to go? Listen, is he gonna be able to go to 2 Super Bowls? Is he gonna be able to get 8 playoff wins?
No,
Is he?
no.
I not this year, possibly
Not
next
until
year. Not this year, definitely. I see them finishing last in their division or third in their division, excuse me, because the Saints will finish last unless if a miracle happens. So I don't see anything else of that nature happening. Now, I will tell you this. I forgot to mention this earlier. The Cincinnati Bengals are not relocating. They are staying in Cincinnati. They
They're
uh, they reached an agreement with their municipality, with their county, as far as a 700 and I think it's a $755 million renovation to their stadium. So my crazy take of the Bengals moving to St. Louis is over, boys.
Yeah, that was a wild take.
It wasn't out of the realm of possibility the way they were saying it.
Right.
shout
Yeah,
out Robert for getting customers on Not Move podcast and subscribing last night.
Yeah, good
Hell
job,
yeah.
Robert.
Hell yeah.
All right, boys. I think
In-
this is a good time to end it. I think we're like an hour and a half in. So,
Yeah,
yep,
Yeah,
we
great
are about.
podcast. Great show.
good work, guys.
all
Yes,
right.
This is
sir.
not bad, man. We appreciate you guys. Because without you, we ain't nothing.
All right, boys. Not Move Podcast signing out. We'll see you guys next Tuesday.
Not
All right.
moved.
Not move, son.
We're gonna
Yes,
have
I'm
sir.
not moving.
we're gonna have some stuff through the week.
Bye.
We got the Ravens. We got Tinez and Bag doing a special on the Ravens.
And
And
On
we're
and
gonna have a
Thursday.
Bears. We're gonna have a Bears one with special guest Gumby and Sam.
nice. And I will tell you this coming soon also. I am going to have another NASCAR segment. I'm going to bring Clifford in with me. He's been watching some racing as well. So me and Clifford are going to coming soon. We'll be bringing on the NASCAR segments during the week. If you guys want to see more of the NASCAR stuff as far as other sports go, please let us know and we'll bring it up into the main show.
Yep. And then
Absolutely.
we also have baseball tomorrow. So we're definitely gonna
Yep.
cover some baseball tomorrow. So everybody tune
Yeah,
in.
we got a busy week, guys. This is just kicking off. We got shows starting to go. We're gonna start making the schedule for said shows. Um, and that's why we're a group because some of us can't make it. But that's where next man's up.
Gosh dang, JB, you're
Yeah,
cutting.
big. You got a bad.
JB, you're cutting out. Let me just go ahead and finish this off for you, buddy. No offense. I'm sorry, but you went from T-Mobile to T-Maybe, my friend. So I'm going to just say this. We have a lot of shows that are coming into the fold. We have a lot of segments that are going to be live on their own separate deals. If you want to hear more on the main show in the hour and a half we have, please let us know. Please give us your feedback. We are on all of the platforms, the Amazon Musics, the Apple Musics, the Spotify's, all of that. If you want it to be on anything else, please let us know. This is the Not Move podcast signing off. Y'all have a good night.